Okay, so now we are going to talk about a country. I don't like talking about an emerging country. So we are going to talk about Albania. Albania has started a vast program of reform for the benefit of future generations, and this in all areas: education, health, and debt. Please welcome Mr. Edi Rama, Prime Minister of Albania. Over to you, sir.
Surtout, j'ai pas imaginé de me sentir chez moi.
I would never have imagined I would feel at home here. It's just like Albania. Well done. It was a year of election in my country, as it was in yours. In mine, my party, myself, won the elections. In here, it's the whole world who won. The French people gave us hope and gave your president the huge responsibility of leading your country in this difficult moment, a moment that is difficult for Europe. In the same way, the Albanians entrusted me with this responsibility. This world is faced with problems and challenges, but the right to lead is one of the greatest privileges that an elected representative can be granted by the people. So every morning I have two questions that I ask myself. One is, am I helping my people and my country to rise to the challenge? Am I helping my people to lead a better life? It's not easy, of course, but these are my guiding stars. At the heart of this, there's always the economy. I was very happy when Jacques Attali asked me to take part today and to share my vision of the positive economy. What exactly do we mean by the economy? We mean people. We mean people who act, who buy, who sell things. We mean entrepreneurs who have ideas, who create jobs. We mean governments who create the foundations to support growth, to create jobs and wealth, with tax systems allowing them ultimately to make the right investments in schools, in roads, to fund the police and the army who are fighting crime and terrorism and make us feel safe. This is what I mean when I'm saying that we're at the heart of everything, and everything that affects us, that touches us, everything that we desire for the future is complicated. Put two economists in the same room, and they will very shortly disagree. In my job, with so many ambitions for the talents of our people, what do I consider to be the most important element of the economy? It is know-how. If we do today, if we make a difference between countries, countries are not different in what they have. They're different in what they know. And economies of knowledge are economies that will succeed in the future. In a world defined by the fast pace of change, not only based on what we know, or what we think we know, but how we will see the world changing in the future and how we will manage to adapt to that. It's very difficult for our kids to imagine that there was a world without cell phones and without the internet. Just as it was difficult to imagine for my generation a world without cars, although in Albania, in communist Albania, it was very easy to imagine a life without a car. But at least we knew they existed. So with the next wave of automation, of robotics and artificial intelligence that will surely emerge, how can we seize upon these opportunities? As the great Nelson Mandela said, in a very different context indeed, was that of the very long struggle of his country for freedom against apartheid. It always seems impossible until you get it done. Flying across the ocean was impossible until it was done. Phoning the other side of the world and exchanging billions of dollars in a split second. Walking on the moon. A lot of impossible things, a lot of unimaginable things have been achieved. Our history is full of them, and our future certainly will. We need to have the capacity to know how we will do this. In wealthy societies, in knowledge-rich societies, each individual masters a part of the great whole of knowledge, but everyone works productively with others on ambitious projects to create complex social realizations. In a poor country, it's not the case. But if you follow the progress, if you follow the road to progress, there have been more roadblocks in Albania. Albania was disconnected from the world for almost half a century. The ideas that spread naturally in today's society had never existed for us before. When the isolationist communist regime fell, Albania was a country who'd been deprived of contact with the rest of the world, and it made us even more poor because our workforce fled the country, the workforce we needed to modernize the country. When everyone fled, it created a problem. The Albanian diaspora is now one of our strengths. We're very proud of our compatriots who have succeeded abroad in the arts, in human sciences, in science and technology. They contribute to improving our connection to the world. Many have returned home and are allowing us to leverage their knowledge acquired abroad. Let me give you an example. You've all heard about the financial crisis in Greece. A great many Albanians were working there. And as jobs started to shrink as a result of the crisis, many came back to Albania. In only 4 years, our workforce grew by 5%. And about these two economists in the same room I was telling about a moment ago, who were arguing, at least one of them would have said that it would unavoidably result in lower salaries and higher unemployment because there would be more people competing for the same types of jobs, of low-pay jobs and low-skill jobs. Do you know what actually happened? The Albanians who had worked in Greece in agriculture and knew how to operate greenhouses developed agriculture. But until not so long ago, we had no greenhouses. And these new agricultural entrepreneurs grew fruits and vegetables and then exported their products. A great number of Albanians who had been to Greece worked in tourism. They have acquired know-how in the sector. And all of a sudden, more hotels and more restaurants opened in the country than ever before. So instead of the depression which we all feared that may have been triggered after the crisis in Greece, our nearest neighbor, we witnessed an acceleration of growth, of investment, and of employment. That is the positive economy. It's a positive accumulation of human knowledge to generate prosperity and well-being through exchanges and transfers of knowledge and know-how. Through the arts, through leisure, through ideas, we can impress, we can innovate too. Beyond the political debate about an economy of offer or demand, the initiatives of individuals and businesses should be crucial and central to this positive revolution. Things always seem impossible until you do them. Albania should no longer mean corruption or criminality, but creativity and innovation. It's impossible? Well, let's do it. I know we can, because change is already underway. It's very clear for anyone who visits Albania. But we need you even more to help us, to focus, and to reach the tipping point when ultimately the old image will disappear and that people will see us as we are, what we know, that we can be. Albania in the EU, impossible. Are you so sure? Let's just do it. And let me tell you why I want this to happen and why I think it would be good for Albania and for Europe as a whole. Historically, we lived in very small human units, and slowly we organized into a nation state. Building nation states was something that was used to overcome territories with very different ethnic groups and religions and identities. If you know the history of the Balkans, it was particularly difficult in our region. It was a real challenge, and we even witnessed it in the wars not so long ago in Yugoslavia in the 90s. The post-Yugoslav states, which resulted, mainly became stable and peaceful states. And today, Serbia and Albania have much more in common than things that separate them. And this would have been impossible, even when I became Prime Minister a few years back. And it has happened. And one of the things we do have in common is the deep belief in the values of the European Union and a true desire to belong. So I'm saying this very humbly and with great admiration. I do not believe humankind ever attempted a political or an economic program that was more ambitious than the creation of the European Union. The process, of course, went through ups and downs. Brexit happened, and obviously it's on a downward curve at the moment. But things have not stopped, and they will not be interrupted. There are many parts of the world who are much less diverse than, or in terms of language, religion, or ethnic groups than Europe, and who, however, have been unable to manage the level of integration that Europe has achieved. In Latin America, there are 19 countries where the same language is spoken, 27 where Arabic is the main language, and the degree of integration, the degree of political union, of peaceful political union in Europe is much greater and much better than any other region in the world who are culturally more homogenous. We believe in Europe. We want to belong to Europe, and we want to contribute to the creation of this incredible success. And in saying this, I am not only talking on behalf of the Albanians, but also of all of the Western Balkan countries. Brexit or not Brexit, I believe that we, the Western Balkans, are in sync with history. We are surrounded by Croatia, Bulgaria, Greece, Italy. There are also 6 countries at the heart of Europe, culturally linked to the world around us, with aspirations to be more intensely connected with this world and believing in a greater alliance with whom we can interact, from whom we can learn, and to which we can contribute. And in conclusion, I would say that if there is a positive revolution that could happen for people who live in our continent, it would be a revolution that could make it possible. It would make it possible for every child on this continent, whether born in France, born in the Balkans or elsewhere, to be equal under the single roof of the European Union. And if, for states, some states believe there should be a multi-tiered European Union. For kids, there should be a single Europe where everyone is equal. Thank you.